Welcome to Daily News Weekly, where we highlight stories from the past week that you might have missed. I'm your host, Michael Sheridan. Now, I also have to mention that I agreed to do something on this show this week, and I'm a little concerned about it. Apparently, my crew wants me to do this. Oh, and we're so looking forward to watching you eat that chip. Oh yeah, we cannot wait. I got this in the mail, or somebody got this in the mail in the office, and I agreed that I would eat the chip for this episode. So later in the episode, I'm going to eat this chip. I'm not looking forward to it. Some people have raised the concern that the entire Storm Area 51 craze is going to lead to people trying to get into the military installation and breaking the law. And it looks like it may have actually done that. 2 men from the Netherlands were busted in Nevada after allegedly entering the Nevada National Security Site in Nye County. The land that includes Area 51 is a huge piece of desert that's about 70 miles north of Las Vegas, and that includes the National Security Site where this incident took place. Govert Charles Wilhelmus Jacob Sweep. Wow, that's a name. And Thijs Granzier, a pair of YouTubers, were arrested and charged with trespassing. Now note here, they were arrested. Not shot, but arrested. They were discovered after their car was spotted about 3 miles inside the security site, which was once the location of several nuclear weapons tests. Now, the 2 men were arrested by a local sheriff's department, and they granted the police permission to search their vehicle and look at the equipment they had. They apparently had cameras, phones, and a drone. And there was video footage on those devices that indicated that they were, in fact, inside the security site, according to authorities. Now, I'm sure these 2 were influenced by the Storm Area 51 craze. I'm sure that's the case. So let this be a reminder to all of you who think it's cool to try to storm Area 51 or any military installation. If you try to trespass on a military base, they will find you, and they will handcuff you, report you to local authorities, fine you, and you will face criminal prosecution. Negro Mountain is no more. Well, at least the signs on 2 Maryland highways are no more. The 30-mile stretch of mountain known as Negro Mountain runs from Maryland into Pennsylvania, and some have been working for years to try to get it renamed. But the Maryland State Highway Administration apparently removed 4 signs that bore its name along Interstate 68 as well as Route 40. Now, in this day and age, it might be surprising to learn that there is a place called Negro Mountain. It's not unique. There are lots of locations throughout the country that use the word Negro in its name. There are also places that use the more offensive alternate version of that word. There are trails, creek beds, all sorts of things. It isn't quite clear exactly why it's called Negro Mountain. There are some tales about a black man who died during the French and Indian War, heroically sacrificing himself. There are some slight variations of that story. There's also stories that indicate that the area was really popular for lynchings. But these are not exactly verifiable claims, so the name is shrouded in mystery. And apparently changing these names is very complicated. It takes a long time, which is why there still remain so many places that actually use the word, despite the fact that it has become synonymous with racism and very identifiable with America's racist history. But what do you think? Should Negro Mountain be renamed? And if it was to be renamed, what should they call it? Okay, it's that time of the show. I'm going to eat the chip. But first, let me just address a comment from last week's episode. All the comments were pretty much about the one subject that we talked about last week, the Straight Pride Parade that took place in Boston. It attracted a lot of protesters. There were fights and people were arrested. Mostly, it seems, the people who were arrested were all the protesters, not the people in the parade. Don Present, assuming this is a real person, wrote on YouTube, "Michael, The march was not anti-gay. Unfortunately, the left is trying to make traditional social norms abnormal, similar to the way you're trying to normalize and justify the hateful actions of the 36 counter-protesters. Well, first of all, I wasn't justifying them at all. I argued in last week's episode they should have just ignored the parade. The fact that they even showed up was a bad idea, and they shouldn't have done it. It's my belief that the parade was specifically designed to create a conflict. That was the only reason this parade existed. That and to try to make these people into some sort of heroes of the far right. I think the whole thing was a joke, should never have happened, and you say it's not anti-gay, but your comment and pretty much every other comment on the video highlighted just how anti-gay it was. I'm not quite sure why a group of people trying to be treated like normal human beings somehow means that everybody else is being treated as if they're abnormal. That's a wonky logic. That somehow social behavior or that anything is like a scale. Like somehow other people trying to lift themselves up means they're trying to bring other people down. Okay. Now it's time for me to eat the chip.
Oh my God, this is awesome.
It's the Paqui OneChipChallenge. They're not sponsoring this. I'm just an idiot who decided, hey, sure, I'll eat the chip on video. Probably burn my intestines out. Okay, here we go. This is the package. Ooh, there's more than one chip in here. I'm only going to go for the one. There are 2 chips. Wow. A lot of spice. You can smell it. Can you smell it? No? Oh, it's a microphone.
Stop stalling and just eat the chip.
I wish there was a scratch and sniff thing, right?
Just eat it already.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. I'm eating the chip. Wow.
Oh my God, look at his face. He's sweating.
That's spicy. The worst is you get the hiccups.
Oh my God, this is awesome.
Oh, damn. Excuse the noises. Ooh. Wow. Yeah, it burns.
Dude, you're going to be feeling that for the rest of the day.
Wow. Oh my God. My entire tongue is on fire.
That burn's going to be with you for the rest of the day.
Okay. Cheers. Now, it's not very often that we get into the wild world of sports on this show, but there were 2 incidents recently that really call into question how people treat female athletes. The first involves a field hockey game at Kent State, where Temple University and the University of Maine were battling it out in a Division I game. And apparently the game got to 0-0. They were in overtime, and they had to keep going into another overtime. That's apparently when officials at Kent State ended the game and told them they had to stop playing so that way fireworks could be set up at a nearby field for a football game celebration that was going to happen later on. Now, originally, the teams were told that they could continue their game, but they'd have to wait 7 hours. But because the teams had all traveled from long distances, they couldn't sit around for 7 hours to wait to complete the game. This effectively meant the game was over. And what made it worse is that because it was a Division I game, it couldn't end with a tie. So the game actually got scrubbed. It was turned into a scrimmage match and no longer considered a Division I game. The other incident involved a high school swimmer in Alaska who won 4 meets, but then was disqualified from one of them. Why? Because apparently when she got out of the water, the bathing suit had rode up her butt and was exposing her cheeks, and a judge decided that was violating the rules. Now, both of these incidents seem to raise a question about how female athletes are treated compared to male athletes. I mean, in the case of the swimmer, I find it very difficult to believe that had it been a male and for whatever reason his swimsuit revealed too much of a butt cheek, anyone would have batted an eye to that. But because it was a teenage girl, somehow that was different. In the case of the field hockey players, there are 2 things going on there. One is, I wonder if it had been a male team, would officials have been so quick to just dismiss it and cause the game to stop the game, but also effectively ruin the game for the players like they did. But also, there's an element of it was football and field hockey, and football is king, so all other sports don't matter. But I'm curious about what you think. Do you think these athletes were treated unfairly because they were female? And would the decisions have been different if they were male? And for our last story this week, we turn our attention to Pennsylvania, where a pair of knuckleheads apparently thought money found was money earned. Authorities say a bank error caused Robert and Tiffany Williams in Montoursville to receive $120,000 in their account. Authorities say the mistake happened after a bank teller accidentally deposited the money into the wrong account. Instead of doing the responsible thing, which would have been to inform the bank of their mistake, authorities say Robert and Tiffany went on a spending spree. They used the money to buy an SUV, 2 4-wheelers, a camper, and a car trailer. They also used the money to pay off some bills and do some car repairs. Now wait, before you judge Robert and Tiffany, who reportedly are unemployed, have 3 children, and live with Robert's father, they were generous with their found money and apparently gave $15,000 away to friends who were in need of it. According to WNEP 16 News, when the bank found out about the error, they corrected it and then went to Robert and Tiffany and said, hey, you guys kind of owe us $107,000. And apparently, according to the reports, Robert and Tiffany initially indicated that they would be willing to set up a payment plan, but then soon started to ghost the bank. They now face felony theft charges. Now, WNEP 16 News actually went to their house and ended up encountering the man who identified himself as Robert's father. And his quote is just great. "I don't even know what's going on. I'm just the dad. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what to tell you." Now, somehow I feel like these guys played too much Monopoly as a kid and actually thought that when you got the card that says a bank error in your favor really meant you can keep the money. Well, excuse me. Well, that's it. It's the end of the episode. Thank God. Thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed it, if you enjoyed watching me suffer, hit that like button down below. And, if you have any thoughts or comments about any of the stories we talked about this week, please leave those remarks down below. And you never know, we could talk about your comments next week. That's it. I'm going to go have my stomach pumped and probably have to get my esophagus replaced. Oh, man.